Adanne had always dreamed of a life beyond the small village of Umuaka, where the night hummed with the songs of crickets and the mornings smelled of fresh palm oil frying in earthen pots. When she married Chukwudi, her Odogwu, her king, and he brought her to Lagos, she thought her prayers had been answered. Lagos was a world unlike anything she had ever known, bright, loud, and full of endless possibilities. Chukwudi had found greener pastures here, as he always said. He worked tirelessly to provide for her. They moved into a modest but beautiful apartment in Surulere. And though she missed home, she found comfort in the love of her husband. 5 months into their marriage, she was pregnant and her joy knew no bounds. She registered for antenatal at the community hospital, and that was where she met Nkechi. Nkechi was different, bold, confident, and sharp-tongued. She was unmarried but also pregnant. Her belly was slightly smaller than Adanne's. Their connection was instant. They laughed together, gossiped about the nurses, and soon became inseparable. Everyone in the hospital knew them as a pair, always walking side by side. Adanne began inviting Nkechi over whenever Chukwudi was away. They would sit for hours, eating roasted corn and granuts, sharing stories about pregnancy and the lives they hoped to have. When one of the nurses subtly warned Adanne against getting too close, she had snapped, "Mind your own business. Nkechi is my friend." Perhaps that was her first mistake. One fateful afternoon, as they returned from the hospital, they saw a young woman rushing out of Adanne's apartment, her wrapper barely tied around her chest. Adanne's heart pounded. "Who is that?" she cried, trying to chase after her, but the woman was too fast. Nkechi was beside her in an instant. "Ah, Adanne, open your eyes. Your husband is cheating on you," she hissed. Adanne felt her knees go weak. No, Chukwudi wouldn't. "See, men are wicked," Nkechi cut in. "You need to teach him a lesson, make him feel pain too." Adanne refused at first, but the doubt had already crept in. She stopped smiling at Chukwudi when he returned from work, started sleeping with her back turned to him. When she confronted him, he had been furious. "How dare you question me?" His palm connected with her cheek before she could even react. Her ears rang, her heart shattered. That night, she lay awake, cradling her belly as tears soaked her pillow. The next morning, she agreed to follow Nkechi to the dibia. The old man's hut smelled of burning herbs and something rotten. His eyes gleamed as he handed her an egg. "Call his name 3 times, he instructed, "then break it. In 3 months, you will see how life will change." She did as she was told, her hands trembling. Days later, Nkechi gave birth, mysteriously, and she disappeared. Her number no longer connected. Her house was empty. Adanne was confused, but she had bigger things to worry about. 2 months later, she welcomed a son. He was beautiful, a perfect little boy, and they had named him Junior after Chukwudi. Despite everything, he was overjoyed. He threw a lavish naming ceremony, one that had the whole neighborhood talking. For the first time in months, Adanne felt peace. She decided to forgive her husband. But then, the horrors began. Junior would wake up in the dead of the night, burning with fever. He cried all through the night. Sometimes he would stay perfectly still, no sound, never blinking. His eyes were always open, watching something unseen. His stomach swelled unnaturally, and the worst of all, his stool was solid black, like burnt beans, even though he was only breastfeeding. Adanne ran to the church, desperate for answers. The pastor laid hands on her and shook his head. "You must confess," he said sternly. "Confess? What was there to confess?" She refused, but Junior only grew worse. Frantic, she reached out to Nkechi, begging her to go back with her to the dibia. But Nkechi only smiled and laughed. "That is your own battle, oh, my friend." With no choice, she carried her sickly son and returned to the medicine man. Kept inside, the door creaked open behind her. Chukwudi walked in, and beside him, Nkechi, holding a child. Adanne was confused. Adanne felt the blood drain from her face. Nkechi smirked. Surprised to see me? Chukwudi's eyes were dark, filled with something she couldn't understand. It was then that the Dibia chuckled. Ah, foolish girl, he muttered. You really thought meeting Nkechi was by chance? The truth hit her like thunder. Nkechi had planned this all along. She had known about Chukwudi before Adanne ever met him. She had been his lover before, left her pregnant, and abandoned her when he went to marry a village girl instead. No one takes my place, Adanne, Nkechi whispered. The realization came too late. Junior let out a small shuddering breath and went limp in her arms. Adanne screamed. She had thought the charm would ruin her husband, but she had been blind. She had called his name 3 times. She had broken the egg, and Chukwudi had named the child after himself. The curse had fallen on Junior somehow. She clawed at the ground, wailing. Chukwudi watched in silence as Nkechi wrapped a hand around him possessively. By nightfall, she was thrown out, her wails lost in the cold Lagos streets. Nkechi moved into her home. She once called hers. She has now become Chukwudi's wife. Now, with no way back to Umuaka village and nobody to help her in Lagos, Adanne sold the little things she had and started selling akara by the roadside, a shadow of the woman she once was, haunted by the echoes of her own mistakes and the weight of betrayal she would carry forever. The lesson from this story is that not everyone who laughs and jokes around with you means well for you. Sometimes you could just be a pawn in someone else's game. If only Adanne had listened to the nurse, she could have saved herself a lot of trouble. If only she had looked deeper into this friendship with Nkechi, she would have found the truth. Now, if you want to learn how to write a compelling story like this ebook will guide you on how to write, publish, and earn as a writer. If you enjoyed this story, show your support by liking this video and subscribing. Don't forget to leave a comment. Until next time.